Hey guys, it's Matt Henderson here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Ultra Buzz Lightyear Wake-Up System. This Buzz Lightyear came out in 1999 for the release of Toy Story 2, and I've made a video talking about not necessarily this figure specifically, but the general concept of this figure. That video is called The History of Ultra Buzz Lightyear 2000, and essentially, this design was the prototype for what would become Utility Belt Buzz. And this is that concept design as a toy. Now, there were many different toys. However, this one is very feature-packed. This figure is pretty bizarre, to put it mildly. I mean, obviously, it looks pretty unique in its own right, but the features especially are very bizarre. So this Buzz essentially is a combination of a normal action figure, an alarm clock, and a remote control Buzz. And it's very interesting. We'll kind of get into it. So first thing, I want to talk about the way this Buzz looks. The design is very fascinating. One thing I want to note before I kind of get into this Buzz is not in that great of condition. It does work mostly, but cosmetically it's very flawed. It's very yellowed in certain places. Like the silver parts look pretty good, but you can see the stickers are very faded. And you'll see whenever we get to the wings, you'll see how yellowed the wings actually are. But anyway, this Buzz generally looks very cool actually. He features this prominent metallic silver design, which essentially almost looks like he has armor plates on top of his normal armor. And it's very unique. If you look at the back, he actually has this massive, I don't even know what you would call this. It has this massive base piece, and this is where the batteries go back here, and this is also where wheels are. Unfortunately, on my figure, the wheels are broken, and I also don't have his remote control, so I can't really demonstrate those features. So I just wanted to say that ahead of time. But yeah. So every part of this Buzz is very unique. You know, he has like specially molded, legs. His legs actually can't bend because of the base piece. Then he has specially molded arms. The torso is very unique. It almost looks like, it's kind of a weird design choice. It almost looks like he's supposed to have wrist communicators on both sides, but he doesn't have any wrist communicators. It's kind of an interesting design choice. And of course, the stickers are also very unique. The laser sticker is not too different, but the Star Command badge is quite different. The Lightyear sticker is pretty different, and then the Space Ranger insignia is also very unique. It's actually quite cool. He also has a green utility belt, which, while it is pretty different from how it would look in the final movie, it's not too different. Especially on the back, it looks mostly the same. It has the same like grappling hook design, but the insignia on the front's a bit different. And if you're wondering, the utility belt is not electronic. It's basically just for display. And then pretty much the only thing that's not really different on this Buzz is the helmets and then also the head. Now the head is very yellowed. It doesn't look so bad on camera, but in real life it looks really bad. Yeah, the head can move all the way around. And this head was actually reused on the Clear Room Guard Buzz Lightyear and then the Disney Parks Interstellar Buzz Lightyear. So if you know what those heads look like, it's the same head, except it's not as yellowed as this one. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the back now. Now, the back has a lot of different controls for his like alarm clock, and then has the on and off switch. We're just going to mainly focus on the way it looks. So he has this very unique jetpack design. And as you can see, his wings are actually folded away. Whenever I store this Buzz, his wingspan is so big, I actually have to fold them away. But yeah, I'll go ahead and pull them out now. They don't exactly come out very smoothly, but I'm guessing that's because this is a bad condition figure. So yeah, that is the original color of the wings. So you can see how badly yellowed the rest of it is. I'm guessing that whenever it was in storage, this was actually pushed in. But yeah, they look awesome, and they're massive wings. They're not really electronic or anything, but they look really cool. So yeah. And I also didn't mention this, but he of course has the alarm clock on the very front. So we'll get into that when we talk about his electronic features. I'll go ahead and show you his posability. I already showed you his head and helmets. His posability is mostly kind of the same. I don't think the arms can rotate all the way around. They can technically rotate decently far around. Like, they can rotate that far around, but the wing kind of gets in the way. They can go that far down. It can swing up and down at the shoulder. The joints are not exactly smooth on this Buzz, so it's not the greatest demonstration, but he swings at the elbow. His hands rotate. His fingers can move out a little bit more than usual, which is kind of weird. They usually only move out about that far, but this one moves out a little bit further. So yeah, his fingers all move, and the pointer finger can be moved individually. And then I think the other arm can move all the way around. Yes, so the other arm can be moved all the way around. And then his waist can rotate about halfway around. Obviously, can't move very far because there are electronics in the legs. And then he doesn't really have leg articulation because he has the wheels. He has this massive base piece. But his knees can move a tiny bit, but I don't really think they're supposed to be moved. So yeah, that's all of his articulation. Now I'll kind of get into his electronic features. So if we flip him around, you'll see that he has a bunch of switches on the back. So he's currently in his try me mode. So there's try me, and then there's off, and then there's play. So the main difference between try me and play mode, in fact, I think this is the only difference, is that whenever he's in play mode, his laser light constantly blinks. Now, I'm not really sure why they did this. My hypothesis is that because the LCD display for his clock is not backlit, you can't really see him in the dark at all. This kind of reminds me of how like some smoke detectors blink while they're in the dark. So I'm guessing that's why they added that. So that's kind of interesting. I'll probably leave it in that mode for the rest of the video. But yeah, otherwise there's no difference. So I usually leave him in the try me mode. And then we also have a switch to set the clock. So if we pull it up, we can set the time. Then push it down, we can set the alarm. Then this switch, it is for the alarm to be on or off. Whenever the alarm is on, he basically just constantly repeats his phrases until you push one of his buttons. And then if he's actually turned off, which I won't demonstrate, but if he's actually turned off, his clock will actually still work, but none of the other buttons will work, and his alarm will not work either. So if you just want him to be a clock but without the other features, that is possible to be done. So yeah, I'll go ahead and show you all of his phrases and electronic features now. So I'll go ahead and show you his laser first. So as you can see, he has lights in his head, and then he also has lights back here. It's kind of hard to see, but he has lights in these two little parts right here. It's kind of hard to see, but I'll go ahead and show you that. Those lights are actually synced up to his headlights. Headlights. Yeah, they're synced to the lights in here. So you're not going to be seeing those for most of the video, I don't think, but those lights are back there. Interestingly, his laser, even though it did like the firing sound, you can actually skip to the firing sound, but he only does it one time. A few other buzzes have the same laser, but you can actually hear that firing sound twice, or you can play that sound twice. It's kind of strange. It's coded a bit differently than some of the other buzzes that have that same laser. So that's a bit interesting. All right, so now I'll go ahead and show you his phrases. So his speaker is actually really, really loud. I'm guessing it's just because he actually can move around, and I'm guessing it's also to help aid him as being a good alarm clock. So his phrases are quite loud. So I just wanted to warn you guys. So here we go.
Buzz Lightyear calling all Space Rangers. As per code 6404.5, I've been instructed to awaken you from hypersleep. All Space Rangers report for sector duty. I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, Universe Protection Unit. Buzz Lightyear to the rescue! Buzz Lightyear, trained for dangerous space adventure and ready for action. I must find Zurg before he destroys the universe. My radar is picking up Emperor Zurg. Do you see him? To infinity and beyond.
So those are all of his main phrases with these 3 buttons. He can also say, it's kind of hard to explain this. So whenever you push his wing button, he basically says a group of phrases and sounds. And he has like 3 different sets of them. It's kind of hard to explain. So he basically can say a different mix of phrases all at once. I'll go ahead and show you what those are. They're pretty long.
I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, Universe Protection Unit. I am trained for dangerous space adventure and ready for action. Buzz Lightyear to the rescue! To infinity and beyond! Buzz Lightyear calling all Space Rangers. All Space Rangers report for sector duty. My radar is picking up Emperor Zurg. Do you see him? Buzz Lightyear, trained for dangerous space adventure and ready for action. I must find Zurg before he destroys the universe.
So yeah, those are all of his phrases. It took quite a while to get through them. They're a bit repetitive, like the sound effects, the music, etc. But they're pretty cool. They're reused on the Interstellar Buzz Lightyears, which is pretty cool. And then many of them are unique to this Buzz. So the phrases are pretty cool. So I'll go ahead and show you how the alarm works. So on the front, you can see he has the clock. And if you push and hold these buttons, you can actually see what time the alarm is set to. So in this case, it's 5:30. So we'll go ahead and set it to alarm set. So we'll set it to Let's see, what time was it again? 6:04. We'll set it to 6:05. So time, there we go. And switch it on, and it will turn on momentarily. And you'll see what happens.
Buzz Lightyear calling all Space Rangers. As per code 6404.5, I've been instructed to awaken you from hypersleep. All Space Rangers report for sector duty. To infinity and beyond! Buzz Lightyear calling all Space Rangers. As per code 6404.5, I've been instructed to awaken...
So you can basically turn off the alarm by pushing this button, these three buttons, or the laser. So yeah, that string of phrases and sounds will just repeat until you either turn him off, or if you turn the alarm off, or push the buttons. So yeah, that's pretty much about all of the electronic features I can show you. Unfortunately, I can't show you him moving around, but I can kind of explain what it was like. So he came with this little remote, and it was kind of weird because it was basically like a little wristwatch, although I don't think it had a clock on it. But it had buttons on it to where he could roll forward, and then he can roll backwards, but also turn. And he had like a stop button. And then he also had a button to where he could move around while doing his phrases. And I'm not sure if they were the button phrases with these three buttons or the wing button phrases. But either way, it wasn't super in-depth, but it is a cool feature. But unfortunately, getting this Buzz with the remote, and he also comes with like another stand. Like this thing is already kind of like a stand in and of itself. But he also has like a gigantic base piece that he's supposed to sit on top of. That piece is also hard to get. In general, this Buzz is pretty hard to find. That's why I opted to get one that wasn't in the best condition. Normally, I would rather get something that is nicer, but because this figure is pretty rare, I couldn't do that, unfortunately. That being said, though, I do eventually want to find one that's in better shape, but even if they do have all their accessories, these are usually pretty banged up. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about this figure. If you've watched my Ultra Buzz video, you would know that Thinkway also made an 8-inch version of this figure. They actually made two versions. They made one version that was basically just, it looked exactly like this, except it didn't have the alarm clock or this base piece. And it was just a smaller version of an action figure. And it was a lot more basic, but it was still really cool. And then they also made a model kit version, which was almost exactly the same, but you could take it apart and it had different phrases. They both had different phrases from this Buzz, which was pretty cool. I would love to eventually get those as well, but they're also pretty hard to find, so yeah, as a whole, this Buzz is really cool. It is kind of flawed, though, in many ways. His phrases are a bit repetitive. They're also very obnoxious, but I do really like it, though. I think just the design of it, and also the history of it being the original utility belt Buzz design, is just really cool to me. So yeah, overall, I am very happy to have this. If you want to buy this Buzz yourself, like I said, it's very hard to find, but good luck. And I would actually recommend it if you can find one, because these are really cool. But don't be expecting the best Buzz Lightyear ever, because he kind of, I hate to say it, with him having so many features and trying to be many things at once, he does fall short in some ways. Like I said, his phrases are a bit obnoxious because they're sort of meant to be like alarm sayings, I guess. And then his electronic, or his remote control features, they're not too in-depth. I couldn't show them off, but I kind of explained them. And then his alarm is not too in-depth either. But overall, it is a really cool Buzz, and I definitely would recommend getting him. Actually, guys, one thing I did just notice just now, so I was wrong about the lights. Whenever he's in on mode, the light does stay on, but if you don't play with him for a little while, it does turn off. So it's actually better than I thought it was. But yeah. So overall, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day. More reviews are coming. Bye.